On a misty morning in the rugged highlands of Scotland, the waters of Loch Duich gleamed beneath the soft embrace of dawn. Rising proudly from a small island at the confluence of three lochs stood Eilean Donan Castle, one of the most iconic and romantic castles in all of Scotland. It had seen centuries of bloodshed, love, and betrayal, its weathered stones whispered secrets to the wind, and its halls echoed with the footsteps of ancient warriors. This is a tale from its storied past, a time when myths and history blurred in the shadow of its towering walls. The origins of Eilean Donan. Long before the castle was built, the island of Eilean Donan was considered sacred ground. In ancient times, it was said to be the site of a powerful druidic sanctuary. The name itself, Eilean Donan, came from Donan, an Irish saint who arrived on the island in the 6th century. He and his followers sought to bring the word of Christianity to the pagan Picts who inhabited the surrounding lands. Saint Donan established a small church on the island, but his peaceful mission met a tragic end when he and his followers were martyred by local chieftains. Yet, the legend of Donan lived on, and the island was forever marked as a place of spiritual power. It wasn't until the 13th century, however, that the first stones of the castle were laid, under the direction of Alexander II of Scotland. The king sought to fortify his western shores against the marauding Norsemen who frequently raided the coast. Eilean Donan, perfectly positioned at the meeting point of the three lochs, became a vital stronghold in the defense of the Scottish Highlands. The prophecy of the seer. Many years later, during the late 14th century, the castle was ruled by the clan Mackenzie, a powerful family with deep ties to the Scottish crown. At this time, Eilean Donan was a bustling fortress, its walls filled with warriors loyal to the Mackenzie chief, Duncan Mackenzie. Duncan was a brave but superstitious man, and like many Highland chieftains of his time, he often sought the counsel of a seer who lived in a cave on the nearby hills. This seer, known only as Moira, was said to have the gift of second sight. She had predicted victories in battle, the births of future leaders, and even the changing of the tides. One cold winter's night, Duncan climbed the steep, rocky path to her cave, a sense of dread heavy in his heart. He had dreamed of a great calamity befalling his clan, and he feared for the future of his stronghold. Moira greeted him at the entrance of her cave, her face lined with age and wisdom. The firelight danced across her eyes as she gazed deep into the chieftain's soul. After a long silence, she spoke. "Great danger approaches, Laird of Eilean Donan," she warned. "An enemy will come from the sea, and they will not rest until this castle falls." Duncan's heart sank, but the seer continued. "However, all is not lost. When the three lochs turn to one, and a dragon awakens from the depths, a warrior will rise to defend this land, and Eilean Donan will stand again." The prophecy left Duncan with more questions than answers, but he returned to the castle with a heavy heart, knowing that he had to prepare for the inevitable. The Viking raid. Years passed, and the prophecy seemed to fade from Duncan's mind. But in the summer of 1397, the warning became reality. A fleet of longships, their sails emblazoned with the raven banners of the Norsemen, appeared on the horizon. These were not the distant raiders of Alexander II's time, but a fierce and well-organized army led by the ruthless Viking lord, Ragnvald Sigurdsson. Ragnvald had heard of Eilean Donan's strategic importance and its wealth. He had come not only to plunder but to claim the castle for himself, hoping to expand his influence over the Scottish Highlands. As the Viking ships drew closer, Duncan marshaled his warriors within the castle's walls. They were brave men, but they were vastly outnumbered by the Norse invaders. For days, the Vikings laid siege to Eilean Donan, launching wave after wave of brutal assaults against its stone walls. The waters of Loch Duich ran red with the blood of fallen warriors, and the castle's defenses began to buckle. On the 7th day of the siege, Ragnvald prepared for his final assault. Under the cover of night, his men stealthily approached the castle, ready to breach the walls. It seemed that Moira's prophecy was coming true, the enemy had come from the sea, and the fall of Eilean Donan was imminent. The Dragon of Loch Duich. Just as the Viking battering ram struck the gates, a thunderous roar echoed across the loch. The waters churned and boiled, and the three lochs, Duich, Elsh, and Long, seemed to rise as one. From the depths, a massive, serpentine shape emerged, its scales glistening in the moonlight. The creature was the fabled dragon of Loch Duach, long believed to be a myth. Its eyes burned with ancient fire, and its mighty wings spread wide as it soared over